All right. I'm sorry for being late. Let's see here. We got it's my fault, guys. We had a couple of people waiting for the show last night at 8 o'clock. And I was pumped up to do it too. We had Ryan Street, the DEI Slayer. Gotta respect that. Gotta respect that. Sorry, Ryan. He was over here waiting for it. He said, video not playing. YouTube must have not liked your message. Catch you the next time, next live, bro. Yeah, I never played it. I'm about to tell you why in a second. Shout out to Uncle Andy in the building for supporting the machine. I got your Cash App this morning, Uncle Andy. I appreciate that. I do. Santiago, bro. Salute. How we sounding, Santiago? How we sounding? Shout out to this guy's in the building. Shout out to this guy's in the building. How we sounding? Cause I'm back on that OBS, man. I'm back on that back on that BS. That OBS. StreamYard, they like to play games. And I guess StreamYard is good if you're going to bring somebody else up, right? Which I don't do a whole lot. So I'm seriously considering getting rid of the StreamYard altogether. I want to start the show. I just want... Good? We sounded good? All right, cool. I was just kind of waiting for some confirmation that we sound good. Turn the mic down a little bit because sometimes just like... I'll tell you this, I'm feeling good. All right, so what happened last night? No cap. So I told my family it's spring, right? Spring is here. So we plan things out. So a few weeks back, I told my wife, all right, we're all going to cleanse, right? So boil the senna. And senna is like these leaves that helps to cleanse out your body. You know what I'm saying? Usually I may do a senna. It's a natural leaf too, so you can just buy it. It comes from the earth nature. But then I also do go buy this other stuff from CVS. You can get it over the counter. It's clear, and it also help flush out. And when you do these two together, I mean, don't plan anything for the day. Kind of stupid like I did. Because you will be down for the count, right? But I thought I had the hours kind of like pegged on the center. And here's the thing. You can still see some of it right there. I literally drunk, like, this bottle was almost full. This entire bottle was almost full, right? So I had drunk the whole thing. And then my wife was asking me, she was like, you got a show? I was like, yeah. She was like, you drunk all of that? I was like, yeah. She's like, So, needless to say, I was down for the count. You understand? So I could not even get to the show. And even if the show started, I'm sure I would have had to leave. So I was like, dang, I didn't calculate that correctly. So my fault, guys. But spent the day relaxing and creating a new series for you guys on Beyond You TV. Some of it, which we're going to talk about today. Some of it we're going to talk about today. Hold up 1 second. I need to talk to these people. Sorry. Hello? Hey, good morning, Irish. Yeah, so I'm doing a live right now. However, my channel, the live channel, is like on the dashboard, it's not showing. So I don't know why that is, because before I went to sleep last night, I created a new live, and I labeled it April 2025 live or something like that, and it was playing. And then when I woke up this morning, it wasn't playing. So I need to make it 24 hours, is what you're saying? I thought it looped. That's why I left it like that. Yeah. But if I set it for 24 hours, then it will loop? Yeah, I seen that. Okay. Okay. So I'm doing a live right now, but you definitely did clarify that for me, so I will fix that after my live and I will go back and do it over. So when one runs out, it would just go to the next one automatically? Oh, right. Okay. Let me get back to my audience, but thank you very much. No, that's it. Thank you, you too. Bye. Okay. So I know why my the live on my on Beyond UTV is not working now. We'll fix that after this. However, I've had an excellent last 2 days. Amazing. I do think I don't know if let me look something up. I want to see if the moon is waxing or waning. I guarantee you it's waxing right now. Now, if I just ask AI, a Gemini AI will answer me. Is the moon waxing or waning? Let me find out. It's probably waxing. It's waxing. It's waxing. Um, I could kind of tell when it's waxing, and I could tell when it's waning. Here's the thing: we're gonna get into a lot of different conversations today. Some good conversations. One, knowledge yourself. That's number one. Awareness. Consciousness is just awareness, right? You're aware. You're aware of different things. You've been paying attention. Um, we know that our ancestors recorded things, right? And that means they had to observe for years. And then some of this information was just handed down to the next generation, some of this information. But I find myself paying attention to patterns. Let's just keep paying attention to patterns that happen. It may take some time because of what we call time, and you need for the cycle to come back around. So it's kind of like, all right, but pay attention because it would do you. Never mind what these dogmatic religions tell you not to pay attention to. If you want to listen to them, fine. I have no problem with anybody coming over, leaving a comment that Jesus is Lord. However, one of the things I never see you guys really go back and forth with is whether I'm right or not, right? You may spew some hatred toward the video, or you may just give some type of sub where it's like, well, Jesus Christ is my Lord. I never said he couldn't be your Lord. Never asked, bro. I didn't really care. That's not what my video was about. What I was talking about, you guys will never debate on, because I never told the people a lie. So if I told the people that Yeshua was from the Essene community, you're going to look crazy if you came up here and you'd be like, nah, he wasn't. When they go to look up the information and find out that you was the liar and not me, it's only going to make me look more credible. So I have no problem with you coming over, leaving any type of comment that says anything about your Lord and Savior, because I never bashed your Lord and Savior. I was only giving the people the truth, is what I continue to do. So what I'm discovering more and more, because this is the time to do it, because the information gates are just opening up and they're just flooding, is that there is so much validity to the things that was suppressed. Things like what I'm explaining to you, patterns about the moons and the moon's energy and the sun. These things are real things, but never mind someone else telling you, or you going to a psychic, or you going to some type of taboo card. But never mind that. You pay attention is what I'm telling you. And you will start to see what happens when how is the energy different from my life when the moon is waxing, when it's getting more light up into the full moon, and then when it's waning, when it's getting less light. You pay attention, and then you come back and tell me what's going on. So the way the universe, the next thing you want to pay attention to is how the universe speaks to you. It is not in the English language all the time. It is not in the English language all the time. What do I mean by it's not in the English language all the time? It could be in whatever language you speak, because sometimes the universe will use somebody else to speak, and you just have to know what you're hearing at that particular time. Is this a signal? Was this person sent to me so I can hear these words? Is this person being used as a medium, a conduit, so that I can hear the message right now? That's one. But the universe doesn't always use people. It can use really anything. What I found is that the universe absolutely loves to use numbers, right? So sometimes when you do, these are patterns that I'm telling you that I've seen in my life, that other people corroborate that, hey, this same thing happened to me. When they see certain numbers and then they go, because our ancestors have already identified listen, the planet has definitely been here for billions of years. We know this because of the deposits of gold that are in the planet, and it takes gold a certain amount of years to form, at minimum a billion. So we're already at a billion straight up, right? So anything after that, you try keeping up with a million years of information through several world-ending catalysms that came and destroyed and wiped out most of humanity and civilization, and then they have to restart. This has happened over and over and over again, and will happen again. We are definitely headed on the path of, if nothing else, self-destruction. But I do believe why that is. It's not so much the Homo sapien sapien. We are the new Ajiji. It is another entity down here, I do believe. There's several entities down here, by the way. Nothing against what I'm about to say. Don't take it as racism. But it is a serious question that we're going to get into today. And it is, I really want to know if the Caucasian people are from this planet, which I don't think any of us truly, really are when you break down the history. But obviously, we all have different histories, right? But one thing we do know is that there was a genetically engineered people, right? We get this from the Mesopotamian records. We get this from the biblical records. So those stories are parallel, right? That there were beings that genetically engineered another group of people. The reason I questioned the Caucasian people, obviously, is not out of racism, is out of why does one species, meaning the people with melanated skin, why do these people, which we call darker people, right? So darker people could be darker people. It doesn't always. It's just not just the black man. You understand? What we call the black man, that is a construct that was defined in really started in the 1800s with the race class system and kind of evolved into the black man. However, just speaking about melanin, and we're going to talk about that today. I didn't know how important melanin was, just period, and actually what it does. I learned a lot doing a new series that I did. I think it's on Beyond You TV, actually. If you go into, if you have the app, it should just pop up on your phone, on an Android. Within the options to view, I think it's called the Human was the first supercomputer, which we are. I already knew this. I have a master's degree in information systems, so I had to learn. Plus, I worked 3 years in a department where I had to fix computers, and they didn't. That doesn't mean send it out to the Geek Squad. I was the Geek Squad, so I had to actually fix your computer. If you brung it in and said it's not working, I have to figure out why it's not working. It could not be working because of the power. It could be working because the motherboard was burnt out. It could not be working for a number of reasons. However, it was my job. And my boss wanted us to take the whole computer apart, not like send it out somewhere, order the parts, whatever it was, and fix the computer. And that's what we did. So once I found out, I seen the correlation between the human anatomy and this computer. I was like, holy snap. But we built the computer, so we are the first computer, hands down. We are the first computer. It's the whole way it's designed. It's designed after the human being. I think we would do good as a civilization of people under some type of elite force to know this elementary information. The elite, obviously, they want to dumb down. They want to limit our potential. And right now, ironically, all this information coming through, and I see people utilizing their opportunity and time to tap dance, right? Meaning, the elite, they know what time it is. They smart, so they say, okay, we are limited in time because we're trying to get. They have goals, right? Strangely enough, they announce some of their goals to you. They tell you. Strangely enough, they tell you what they're gonna do. It's bugged out, but that has nothing to do with them trying to get you distracted from this time to that time. So they told us a while ago. I would say a full 10 years. In 2030, this is what we're going to do. We are now at 2025, and I kid you not, I turned on my YouTube yesterday, and there is a black grown man, and he's talking, almost bragging in a way, of how he knocked out another black grown man, and then his friend put peanut butter in his butt, right? And this is how they're choosing to make money. Because when they say things like this, when they indulge in these type of conversations, their whole agenda is to get other people to get interested in what they're saying, right? Which is a like I can't even call that an elementary conversation. That is just a very primitive conversation, even for 2025, which I don't find us to be that advanced right now as a people. But this is mostly because they've suppressed us, right? They've somehow enticed us to dumb ourselves down. So if I can pay you $1,000 a month to talk about stupidity, will you do it? Some people can, right? And I was talking to somebody else the other day. I was riding around in the car and I said, yo, bro, it's not that I don't know what to do. I know what to do if I want to blow up on this thing. It's not rocket science, right? It's that I can't do it. I don't know how to do that, right? I know how to do what I love. I know how to do this right here. And if some of these conversations, quite frankly, they're gonna mesh with the people who own this platform. They're not gonna like this conversation because it's gonna go against. I'm gonna enlighten the people, and what we're gonna talk about today is definitely gonna open up some eyes, right? It's definitely gonna open up some eyes. I started listening to Terrence Howard yesterday. And finally, City Bama was good, bro. Finally, Terrence Howard. We knew you was capping, but finally, you stopped the cap and you finally broke down what it is you were talking about. Because you obviously are smart and intelligent, right? And I think what happened was his wife put him on a certain diet, right? We're going to talk about some supplements that we could take today that's really going to help you out. Wormwood, different things. I don't want to give too much out on YouTube because YouTube is part of a group that has a lot of pharmaceutical companies that don't care about your real well-being. It's synthetic drugs, right? So it's fake. Synthetic is a copy. It's a fake. It's an imitation, right? You're gonna lose some things once you lose the original, and they don't care how much they lose, right? There's certain things. This is all mathematics. And when I say it's all mathematics, it's all design. So when there's a natural cure for something, it geometrically is supposed to just lock in to the issue and the solution. It's supposed to lock in, right? But when you create a synthetic version of the original solution, you're gonna lose some measurements in that geometry. So it's not gonna fit exactly the same. So when they go to create that thing for you and they sell it and they put all type of shiny bulbs on it and advertisement and hey, the jazz hands and all that, and then you go to take it and then people, they unalive and they get sick and organs are falling to pieces. And yeah, and I want us to understand more about us. So there's a series right now over on Beyond You. Go check it out. The human is their first supercomputer, right? So I'm listening to Terrence Howard, right? And what did he say, Anthony Santiago? What did he say? Right, what he said. I want to listen to it. Now, at this point right here, you know how much gobbledygook I had to listen through with Terrence Howard? Terrence Howard, it's not that he doesn't know. There's a lot of gobbledygook that he was, let me turn this down here. I don't want to peek out. Testing. All right, good. Sorry to yell in. Just want to see if it's going to peek out. Your boy, he's out here doing a lot of gobbledygook. And he knows. He knows. But yesterday, when I watched this, I seen him do something. And I'm going to play it from the moment he did it. He finally explained and said, yo, When I say 1 times 1 is 2, this is what I'm saying.
If we turn it into physical things, that's what I'm saying. Let's turn it. The problem with our math is they've allowed it to be all imaginary. It does not have any physical resemblance.
I don't know why he's dressed in a bathrobe. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to roast you today, Terrence, because you stopped the cap and you said if we turn it into physical things, all right. This is when you started to make sense, because even though I can hang with your gobbledygook, most people are not going to understand, and you're just shouting out keywords and jargon, and it's like, come on, bro. We get it. You understand you definitely have a knowledge of the history of mathematicians and their theories and what they brought to the table. But we need you to break this down into layman terms. And I think you started to do that for a tiny bit yesterday. Well, when I listened to it yesterday. This thing came out like 10 days ago.
It's all fiat, where it should be.
No, but I just do investment.
Reality.
The way I look at it is to say, what's 0.1% of, a penny? What's 0.1% of a penny?
What's the value of a penny?
What's 0.1% of a dime? It's a penny, right? It gets smaller, right? So that's I don't look at it from the physics.
Wait a minute, 10% of a penny of a dime would be a penny.
That's right.
10%.
So 0.1
yes.
is 10%, right? So if you go to the investment side, the argument of one-time ones in investment, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance, it stops right there. But you're going out there and saying 1 times 1 equals 2, and that.
We're saying that since our economics are still based on this linear flat plane geometry.
All right, listen to him right here. This is where I want to help you guys understand, because it has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about today. Because he's differentiating right now from the understanding from, like he said, a linear flat level of understanding about something, and then there's a whole nother realm where the things they're talking about could be calculated differently. Has to be calculated differently. Let's hear him out.
Right.
You can still use the 1 times 1 equaling 1 to perform their economic growth and their economic reactions. But if you're dealing with universal interactions, you have to. Our money may go out linearly, and we may measure it on a flat plane, but as far as the universe behaving, how energy behaves, energy curves and wraps back around itself.
So he's right there. The thing is, why you don't? So this whole time you've been trolling the science in the world. You've been trolling the science professionals. And you've been trolling the world, because we got to listen to you come up here and say 1 times 1 is 2, which it was a stupid conversation with me, because this is how I learned math. If you take one time, how many times do you have a 1? Well, you have that one time. If you take a 1, but you put it down 2 times, how do you have that? How many times do you have that 1? I have it 2 times. All right. And so forth, right? So it really wasn't that hard to understand and explain. It's just, what we were talking about. What you were talking about was something totally different, and you probably should have just said that from Jump Street. Like, I'm talking about universal concepts of things, so which is totally different from the mathematics that they set up down here on this planet for us to use with a system, Terrence. But I'm gonna listen to a little bit more, because I thought you definitely heated up several times during this interview.
It doesn't follow a linear path. And all of the stuff we're talking about in physics and science is about energy. We're not talking about a fiat system where they can have arbitrary rules for the money, that anything can happen with the numbers. Something times nothing can equal nothing and violate conservation of energies. If you're saying,
right, so that's kind of like your OCD kicking in, right? But I can say, and I can teach someone, hey, if I have 0 times, right? How many ones are there? And you're going to say none. Am I wrong? No. But when your brain is on overload, you refuse to work with the system that we have, the mathematical system, and you're saying, hey, but you can't have 0 times. Well, what can we turn that into that would make it more sense? Would it make more sense if I had an egg and I said, hey, if I had an egg 0 times, right? So I'm supposed to have eggs in my basket because I went out to collect eggs. But I have 0 eggs, the egg being the 1. But I have that egg 0 times in my basket. How many eggs do I have? You have 0 eggs, Jamel. What kind of question is that? Okay, if I have that same egg 1 time, the egg that I was intended to go and get, and I actually got it. Now I have 1 times egg in my basket. How many eggs? Jamel, you just answered your own question. You have 1 egg in there. So we understand this too. But he has some form of OCD. But I think he started to acknowledge we're talking about 2 different things. And that's okay, because we do want to understand what you're saying. Because you made some points in this video. But I mean, first clear up the fact that you're talking about something totally else, so you don't confuse everybody, have everybody looking at you like a nut job, because your information actually may be needed and necessary. But if you're out here spewing crap like a nut job, then guess what? No one's going to take you serious.
1 times 0, or you can multiply by 0, but if you divide by 0, it creates an infinity, and division is supposed to be the inverse operation of multiplication. So what you're supposed to be able to do multiplying, you're able to reverse that with division. So if you cannot divide by 0, then you cannot multiply by 0. All of their rules that they break so that their economic pathway can remain consistent. You want to do that. But if you're talking about...
Thank you. You just said it. If you want, you should have kicked in the door with that, bro. Listen, if you want to do that, do it. This is what I do with religion. Right? People over here leaving all type of cryptic messages and all that. Listen, bro. Just told somebody this morning. If you like it, I love it. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm only telling the truth over here as far as history is concerned. Right? So if you don't understand something, maybe you should go back to figure out why you don't understand it. I'm not in an emotional state to just holler out the names of gods and your gods, not mine. You want to do it, fine. There's a whole other group of people out here that's scared to death because they don't know what direction to go in. So I don't give them some false direction. I give them the history that was suppressed. Yo, here's the history they didn't tell you, beloved. Boom. Now that you got it, they'll never be able to tell you anything different. They can say, hey, this is not popularized. I've never heard of this. This is on them and not you. It got nothing to do with you not hearing this. No duh, you didn't hear this, right? Keep on searching. Dig deeper. You'll find it. Right? So that's what you got to do, Terrence. Kick in the door with that, bro.
Saving our planet. You're talking about how the universe behaves and how the energy of the ether behaves.
Talk that talk. Talk that talk. Talk that talk. That's what the conversation is about, that they don't want you to know.
Then there's very specific associations to the numbers. Each number is alive. Each number has value. It's not imaginary. It's not intangible. It is going to have an effect. So we have to multiply it according to how the universe does it.
Okay. So, okay.
All right, let me just stop there because I don't. I honestly don't know where that video goes after that, but that was enough for me, right? So let's go here. Let's go here. Dr. Ann Brown.
The magnetic energy that you're talking about, or the electromagnetic spectrum, which is generated from the earth and from the environment, has to do a
Stop. It's crazy how much they don't want to tell you about this, as if it's so taboo. However, they can't ban you from knowing it, right? But if you notice, there's some things that they just try to nicely edge you away from. And if they can entice you to pay attention to something else, then you would never even get to this conversation. It takes a level of thinking, a certain mindset to even be on this type of topic. And what I tried to do when I first started for the first few years, but as you guys can see, I'm slowly getting tired of, I can't keep up the rules any longer, is I wanted to do a rabbit trick and kind of trick people to come over to listen so I can awaken them. But you can't really trick anybody to awaken them up, right? Whatever path is set for them, either they will be attracted to this light over here or they will repulse from it. It is nature. So, I'm just, obviously I'm getting older this year. I have another birthday coming up, and the older you get, the less you really start to care about the small things. I'm looking at the big picture, and the big picture is we have to get this information out there, right? So, I'm not even by choice. I'm not monetized. I might decide to monetize again soon. I don't know. But I took myself off of the monetization. So I'm not doing these videos on YouTube to make money. But I want to grow a community, a society, a poker face society that has understanding, right? And then they themselves go out, not as my disciples, as my peers of an understanding, and they extend that signal, that frequency. Because as we will come to the conclusion today, there is a force that wants you nowhere near this topic, nowhere near a high frequency at all. This is what makes me think there are other species down here. Obviously the reptilian, right? And they make a big deal. Anytime I talk about reptilians, they go out their way to put something at the bottom of the video that says, hey, he's talking about reptilians. They don't do it if I'm talking about anything else. What are you going to do if I'm doing, maybe COVID, right? So, and COVID turned out to be a total ruse and a sham and some type of ploy that is unraveling to, allegedly, so it was something nefarious there. This is why Dr. Fauci had got the pardon. They knew it. And anything that you've never heard before is going to sound strange. This is why Yahshua was regarded as a God. Because how can you walk on water? How can you turn 2 fishes and 5 loaves into thousands? You have to be a God. Or, here's another thing. Maybe you could do the same thing. You just was never taught how. Well, why wouldn't I have learned how to draw that? Because if you do it yourself, man, they're not going to be able to control you now, are they? If you knew how to just turn simple electricity into a source of light in your house and you found out, that was very simple. Oh my God. I just needed this, that, and the third, and I got this, that, and the third from the freaking hardware store, the CVS. Came back home, put it all together, and I have my own freaking energy? I can create light? I just went and got a couple of magnets, some crazy glue. I went down to the hobby shop, got a small turbine engine, little engine that goes, and I created energy all through this house. How is that possible? Bro, it's not magic. It's science that they just never wanted you to know. What are we talking about? Larry P., good morning, bro. Yeah, I didn't get through it either. Larry P. says that Howard interview was interesting. I'm halfway through it. I didn't even hit the Diddy part. Pause. It's crazy talk. That's crazy. I didn't even get to the Diddy discussion, right? But I see that a lot of people did watch it, because I see 50 Cent focused on he focused on the Diddy part. I didn't even get there. I see what he put up though. That's pretty interesting. I was just more focused on the interaction between him and the NASA scientist. Turns out the NASA scientist actually was like, yo, I agree with a lot of stuff. But they all said that. Well, actually, some of them said that 98% of what he was saying was gobbledygook. Gobbledygook. He does know how to. Now, your boy know how to filibuster some gobbledygook. He's out here just yammering away. Easy, Terrence. But I was hanging on with a lot of what you were talking about. And I'm like, yo, you make sense now. Now you making sense. Just get away from the 1 × 1 is 2. Or explain, hey, this is how y'all are using it in this abstract world. But in the universe, you would need something, just explain the way you're going to explain it. And they will understand better. Maybe more people take you serious. Now we got Dr. Aaron Brown over here, and she's discussing melanin, the Earth's electromagnetic energy, and the ancient wisdom. Now, at the beginning of my show, I questioned whether Caucasian people were from this planet. Not out of disrespect. Right? There's plenty of that we don't know. So do not take my words out of disrespect. Like, oh, we not from this planet now? No. Well, I do believe that some people down here are ancestrally from different planets, and some was genetically engineered. I don't know how this would be far-fetched when we have several books telling us that mankind was engineered. There's so many stories telling us about this. So, did I say hello to the unknown one? If I did not, peace to the unknown one again. Salute. Have a good morning, bro. Glad you're over here supporting. I question why would the majority of your people, the melanin, be so weak? It's not that you don't have any melanin, but it's so weak. How is that fair? That a group of people, ironically, the black people, have the strongest melanin levels of melanin in their body, which I discovered melanin has several different purposes, as we will hear today. So what type of cruel joke is this? Is what I'm asking. Is it a cruel joke? Was the black man designed and engineered by who the ancients called the gods. I don't know if they're actual gods in the way that we think of gods. Maybe they just were more superior to us and they were from another realm and they had better understanding of mathematics and science. Does that make them a god? Well, if you are a lesser being, you may describe them as such. Nonetheless, this is way before Rome created your false god, Jesus Christ. Who engineered man? Now, with engineering man, and this body that we have is so complex, man. But it is a computer nonetheless. I'm gonna have to say that melanin was purposely put in there to prevent the erosion of our skin and the destruction and some other things as well. My question is, why, if you're going to do that for these people, wait, what happened to, if we were all created at the same time, why then are the white people, who they call the white people, let's just call them Caucasian, white seems crude. Psychologically, it may come off as an insult to them. That's not my purpose today. Why then are the Caucasian people, they're born with such low levels of melanin? Now, you will read things and they will tell you, well, this happened because over a period of time where they were placed at geographically, over time it mutated. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm satisfied with that answer, man. And it's hard to be satisfied with that answer knowing that all the information that was suppressed. So when you do hear the things of different records that were passed down underground because they were illegal to share mainstream, we have to consider these things, people. There were several times that it was illegal to share things mainstream. And if that's hard for you to believe, think about right now. Right now, they're talking about taking people to, there is a bill that is proposed right now, damn you, right now. It's already passed the House of Representatives and is waiting for the Senate. And if this bill is passed, you may not be able to discuss a number of things about your own religion. I kid you not. This is the anti-Shemitic bill, right? So anything that has to do with under that umbrella, there may be things that you cannot mention without a severe consequence if the Senate passes it. If they pass it, and I'm going to tell you right now, they have so many different labels: Zionists, Jews, Israelites. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? It doesn't matter because all of it's going to go underneath anti-Semitic. And you guys know how I feel. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. That word is just gobbledygook. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's a made-up word that says, okay, you hate us. Who are you? Well, we go by different names. We have like 4 or 5 different names. All right. And when you see the broad definition of things that they don't want you to discuss, it's like, yo, bro. So we know that there was maps they don't want us to see. We know that things. Here's the thing. This is why Christians do piss me off, right? You piss me off because you have so much opportunity to actually research your own damn religion. And if you just did that, bro, you would probably wake up. If you just research your own damn religion, because you call yourself Christian, so you would know that the Christians, the first Christians, were more mystic, were more Gnostic. But to control them, because there was so many, that energy was spreading. It was like, if you can't beat them, join them. So we're going to join you, then we're going to commandeer the ship. We're going to take it over. We're going to... There's no polytheistic ideologies here, right? You're not going to believe in several different... We're not doing none of that, right? I understand they may have taught you about healing yourself with different herbs and this, that. No, we're going to get rid of it. We're going to taboo all of that stuff, and you're going to pray to God for healing. You're going to pray to the dead Jesus for healing, and he will answer you. Jesus answers prayers. I mean, people waited for that on their deathbed. Then after the prayers wasn't answered, the next thing is, well, it's God's will. Or I guess it would have to be, huh? Because he definitely didn't answer that. You keep on doing that. That's fine. If you like it, I assure you I love it. Here's another concept, though. Maybe there was a guy named Yahshua that was here. And maybe he did actually teach things and was teaching people that they have the ability. Now, if they have the ability to do certain things, why would they ever bow down to a Caesar? Which in Rome, that was an actual religion. Like, worshiping Caesar was an actual religion that they turned into a... We don't need you, bro. We don't need you. So Rome had to force the people by death to become Christian. You do that long enough, you will persuade some people. I think I just want to adopt this here religion, whether they mean it or not. And then what parents will do is they will teach their kids, just listen, I'm not going to always be here, so reverence this God. Why? Because you want your children to be safe when you're not going, and it will make their life easier if they just comply. Boom. There's the epitome of the whole thing. Comply. So then you have 2,000 years of people complying. So I understand fully. Either you don't know what I'm talking about right now, or it's just a hard thing to swallow with the understanding. But the first Christians were mainly Gnostics and mystics. But they had to be controlled, because there's a lot of power and understanding with what they stood on. And I'm just surprised that more of you Christians don't look into what you say you believe. So it's kind of like Terrence Howard, where he's talking about the mathematics, but he's talking on a higher scale. And I'm talking about religion, but I'm talking about it from a higher scale. Not from the Roman Catholic, because that came later on. So why would I start there? I would start at the Christians before that. So that would cause you to go back and look at when the first church was even founded. Hundreds of years after the death of the so-called death of Jesus Christ. Hundreds of years after. So what do you have in between? A good 300 years. What's going on there? That's for you to answer. That's for you to answer. Let's get back to Dr. Ann Brown.
The magnetic energy, that you're talking about, or the electromagnetic spectrum, which is generated from the earth and from the environment, has to do a lot with the amount that's liberated from the atmosphere and nature out there. Has a lot to do with the pulse of the earth. The pulse of the earth has to do with thinking of the total thinking of the peoples in the earth sets the pulse. And as the pulse changes, the energy has to keep in line with that. It has to be a balance. Oh, I'm turning my head. It has to be a balance between the pulse and the energy of the people that are present on this earth and the energy they are using and that electromagnetic force. So that
Now she's cooking right now. I mean, she just turned. She came in cooking, hot. You understand? What she's talking about is that this, and I hope she goes into, elaborates and drills down into it, and I think she will. I mean, we didn't even hit a full minute yet, and she's already cooking on the electromagnetic creation. There's the different levels, right? There's an electromagnetic field that's created from the earth that you should know about. And then there's one that your body naturally creates. That's something else Terrence was cooking about. He said, and I don't have the timestamp, so I'm not gonna go try to even find it. But he mentioned how something is called a positive charge and a negative charge. And he said it should not be called a positive charge and a negative charge because a negative charge doesn't even make sense. Again, they don't want you to understand. These things are not done by mistake. I found so many conversations where, especially when I first went to college, when I went to master's school, I went to the master's program. This is when I'm going to specialize in not liberal arts. I'm going to specialize in technology, right? And they got all these names that is kicking my butt for things. And I'm really thinking like, dang, what would have happened if I would have went to medical school, right? I can't handle the names in technology. What if I would have went to law, where I was going to go there first? And I probably should have went, but it's neither here nor there. But what if I went into those? These names are kicking my butt. So when I finally started to understand the different terminologies, I'm like, wait. So all you referring to, like when you say that, you just mean something, and I would say something something simple, and they were like, yeah. And I'm like, whoa, why you just didn't say that? And maybe I don't really understand, but maybe each industry wants their own jargon for the same. So we have words down here in the English language in this planet and on this continent and in this civilization where we use English as a language, and they mean the same thing as something else, and it'd be like sometimes it's 2 different words, sometimes it's 3, 4, 5 different words that mean the same thing. It's crazy. And I just felt like a good teacher would have broke it down like that. But nope. What these teachers do is they get tenure. And what they do is they get a book. They get a curriculum. They design a curriculum. And it's pretty much on autopilot from there. Right? Because they can do especially after the 3rd year, they can pretty much just take a glance at your text to see if you got it right, and then all the verbiage is automated from 3 years ago when they designed it, and they don't really want you asking questions. It's kind of like, I'm going to tell you what it is and write it down, make a note of it, and I'm going to give a test. And then next week, we're going to move on to another discussion. You don't even have time to really learn it. You don't really have time to internalize it. And, they're giving projects, but that's not enough. Unless you're really at home with nothing else to do. You're not working, or when you go home, you just work on the theories that you learned in school. That wasn't my case. When I was in the master's program, I had 2 full-time jobs. One is a desktop engine support admin, and that was from 9 to 5, and then from 12 to 8 in the morning, I worked as a security guard. So I didn't really, I didn't have that luxury. I had a wife and a brand new baby. So I didn't have the time to really, really try to understand. And by the time I did understand, I learned everything I learned after I graduated because I had to focus on graduating the entire time. When I finished college, university, then I went back and said, okay, let me try to understand everything I just ran through real quick. And that's when I discovered, man, this could have been broken down so much simpler.
Has a lot to do with the pulse of the earth. The pulse of the earth has to do with thinking of the total thinking of the peoples in the earth sets the pulse. And as the
we're gonna take a pause right there. We're gonna take a pause right there. She's talking that talk.
Before the machines, before silicon chips and microprocessors, before networks filled the skies with invisible signals, there was us. We were the first computers. We are the first computers. And I don't mean that as poetry, I mean it as function. Our bodies, our minds, our very skin operate on principles that mirror the technology we use today. Today, we're going to unlock this blueprint, and when we do, you will never see yourself the same way again. Let's start with a question. What is a computer? A computer is, at its core, a system that processes information. It receives input, processes that data, and produces output. It stores memory. It runs programs. It sends signals across networks. Sound familiar? Your eyes are cameras, capturing light, input. Your brain is the processor, interpreting data, analyzing images, sounds, smells, textures. Your nerves are data highways, carrying electrical impulses at over 250 miles per hour. Your skin is not just a covering. It is an antenna, we'll get to that. But understand this, the modern computer is just an imitation of the original. You. Let's go deeper. When you think of Wi-Fi, you think of invisible waves of energy transmitting data across space. Well, guess what? The human body operates the same way. Right now, your body is sending and receiving electromagnetic signals. You are picking up on fields you can't even see. Every cell in your body has what's called a membrane potential, an electrical charge across the membrane that allows it to send and receive signals. Your heart? It generates an electromagnetic field that extends 3 to 4 feet outside your body. Your brain? Constantly broadcasting electrical activity, measurable by EEG machines.
Hold up, stop. Let him cook. Huh? I don't want some of that to go over your head. We got to slow down and cook. Trisha says, it lets you know we don't delve into the world. We do surface level reading, and everything else is others' opinions and our emotions. The truth hurts. Yes, this is a fact, Trish. So what happens is we don't break down the fact that there is a body, a government, not the national government or the country's government, but there's a body of people, a government of people that established this and said, okay, this is going to be the new Christianity, right? This actually happened. I'm not telling people lies. It's just that whoever doesn't like what I'm saying is threatened by how their life is built up right now. They like how their life is built up. You understand? They work all week. They listen to their gospel music in their car. They try to be the best human beings that they possibly can. You know, no one's perfect. And then they have their Sunday ritual where they go to service and this, that. If I come in and start saying what I'm saying, does it threaten that? right? So immediately they have to turn me off. It's like, oh, I'm not listening to that gobbledygook. Because why? Not that they don't hate me, but I can destroy something that they like the way their life is right now. I don't need anything destroying that. I get it. That's why it's called a red and blue pill. You don't have to take it. This is why I was telling people, get out of here. Remember that? I used to tell people all the time, get out of here. What are you doing over here? You don't belong over here. You don't belong over here. You might get yourself caught up over here. Go back to your perfect little life. So no, they don't study what they say they're into. They've taken it from their parents, their grandparents, the elders that loved them. I'm not telling them they gave them this to hurt them. Why would they do that? They gave it to you because it's going to help you move more proficiently on this planet, right? There's a lot of value that you can find in religion. Don't get it twisted. There is value there. I don't know. I mean, I could do it. I guess it would have to be prearranged. You know what it is, original man? I don't like to open up the panel and then just people just up there I don't know, not saying anything or just want it. Like, I want there to be topics. So there has to, I guess there has to be a planned discussion, which that could be planned in the Discord. And this is what we're going to talk about. And I would prefer it that way, right? And whoever's going to come up. And we discuss these topics. But I don't really like the so much impromptu of just dropping the link and then anybody coming up and then people changing the topic. Like, if that's not what I'm talking about, bro. I change the topic so I bring myself back. I don't want somebody to come up here just changing the topic totally. But that I'm not against it anyway, original man. We could just definitely discuss that. Today we are definitely talking about things that aren't normally spoken about. And unfortunately, I would love to leave religion out of it. However, I can't. So I don't have the luxury of, hey, let's just talk about science and not talk about religion. Well, religion has your mind. And the science I'm talking about, it's going to give you back more power. How's that going to work out? How's that going to work out for you? I'm teaching you something that you didn't know about yourself, and it's going to give you back more power. And say, wait a minute, I could do what I am, all of that? I didn't know I was all of that. Once you discover who you are, then it will make more sense why they've been trying to poison your food. Once you discover who you are, it will make more sense why they've been trying to cram your memory bank with such toxic subjects. Why everything is advertised as some type of sex, right? Which is a low base animalistic frequency at its core, right? This is why the instructions was to be fruitful and multiply, but also a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So as I've always said, there is a lot of value in the book. The instructions are there. Go find a wife, my man, and do a good thing. Then, once you find her, hammer away. You understand? Hammer away. Be fruitful and multiply. But for some strange reason, there is an entity on this planet that says, I don't like when they vibrating at that frequency. These are the entities I discuss as just one entity, which is the reptilian, right, from the Draco constellation. Now you got to think about how long there's been rumors about not only reptilians but men who drink blood, like Dracula. And just think about the word Dracula. Dracula. How did that happen? Dracula. How did that happen? Here we are talking about a reptilian entity that none of us have really seen, but It's kind of like, why does this? That's conspiracy theory. Before we get into conspiracy theory, it has been written in the Bible. It says in the words of Fauci, hey, when you criticize me, you're really criticizing science. Huh? When you criticize me, you're really criticizing your own religion. When you say I'm up here talking that gobbledygook about reptilians. Well, your Bible started off with reptilians, Lord. What do you want me to do? Yeah, the mother of your being, Eve, was out here having a whole full-fledged affair, some would say. I mean, I don't know why else you would be linking up with a reptilian, a walking reptilian too. A walking and talking reptilian in a garden without your man, right? Adam is somewhere doing whatever he does. He should have been knowing where his woman was at. He didn't know. She's out here running around with a snake, literally. Oh, Larry P. Talk that talk, Larry P. I can tell you who I do want on the panel, Larry P. If we ever get this discussion popping, original man, we need Larry P up there. Because what we have to do, the same way I said before, the way we learn to walk, you don't learn to walk because somebody held your hands and that's not how you learn to walk. You was going to learn to walk regardless because you was going to mimic what you seen the people do every day. And your brain would eventually it tells you, yo, I know how to use these bad boys now. Now I know how to use these bad boys. Let me push myself up, lean against this couch, and I'm going to start walking on the edge of this thing. Up. Yep, there they go. There's my legs. Ha! Just like they do it. That's how I do it. Why don't we do that just like the Jewish people did it? Because the Jewish people got help from another entity that is hiding under the umbrella of, don't think these are just all normal, just regular human beings. This is the shape-shifting reptiles. This is the organization that they choose to be with, that they choose to align themselves with. And therefore, when you go to judge the activities that's happening under their directives, then you cannot do that without also judging the Jewish people. So it makes it look like you are against Jews and you do hate Jews. But when really but your brain doesn't know how to articulate it any other way. And if you go to talk about reptilians, then anyone's going to think you're a quack anyway. So it's kind of like, what do you do after that? Right? So they have the perfect little system set up. However, I take my time. It takes a little bit lengthier, I say, okay, Jamel, what you have to do is you have to explain the patterns of this identity of this reptilian being that has always been in civilization up until now. It is even the representation of their actual medicine. The staff of the Caduceus. The staff and the two intertwining snakes. And how that symbol goes all the way back to the Sumerian god Enki. But they wouldn't tell you that. Because they didn't even want to tell you about the Sumerians, because they tried to suppress their history. So why would you know that? Why would you know that? I think I was reading about Philip Snyder the other day. Original man. I will, though. Let me bring this back. Thank you for that, original man. I'll look on that. Let me bring this back.
You are picking up on fields you can't even see.
Me and my daughter just had this conversation. You are the first computer and the Wi-Fi and the signal. right? This is why when someone walks in a room, you can feel their vibes. You know the vibes. Where do you think that conversation comes from? You know the vibes, the vibrations. I could feel it, right? Up. She's nasty. I just walked in her. She's nasty. I'm going to stay away from her. Your body can feel it. Now, why is it that we are encouraged to think negatively? If you leave it to them, they're going to say, hey, people are more interested in that, which I don't think. I think they want us cumulatively thinking on the same level so that that energy is built up, so that the overall energy of this planet is thrown off. And we'll get back to, see, this is going to make it make sense when we get back to Dr. Ann C. Brown.
Of the original. You. Let's go deeper. When you think of Wi-Fi, you think of invisible waves of energy transmitting data across space. Well, guess what? The human body operates the same way. Right now, your body is sending and receiving electromagnetic signals. You are picking up on fields you can't even see. Every cell in your body has what's called a membrane potential, an electrical charge across the membrane that...
Did you know that? That I told you that before. What they call the blockchain is not new. That the blockchain theory came from the human anatomy of the cells blockchaining together, and which is really information blockchaining. Take everything I say, because I'm jumping around from video to video. Now, when you go back and watch the Terrence Howard interview with Patrick David, he's going to say, why is it called positive charge and a negative charge? It should be called a positive charge and a discharge. But however, there is an electromagnetic field that is always created around you. There's never not an electromagnetic charge running through your body. The reason is because every time a particle leaves and enters into another atom, then there's that charge. When it leaves, it's a discharge. When it goes into another one, there's another charge. This is always happening all the time, which creates an aura around you, which creates an electromagnetic field around you. All that aura is, all that electromagnetic field is energy and information. What is primarily information that's being transferred to the next cell. There's no way for that cell, the next cell, to get the information without some type of synapses of energy. Energy has to be used in a form of a charge. Bah! It doesn't hurt you. You don't feel it, but that's what's happening. This cell needed that information, and thus all of the information has to continually keep going around and around and around, right? There's so much information you're getting at one time. You're getting information right now through audio. At the same time, you're getting visual information. It's all energy, though, when you break it down to its smallest particle. So that energy, as you receive it, is going to have an effect on you totally. So if you see something good, it's going to have an effect on you one way. If you hear something good, it's going to have an effect on you one way. However, if you was to hear a certain thing over a period of time continuously, it would change your reality. Because you would be guided towards that trajectory. So this is why. It's not that, oh, they don't understand, we young people and we from the hood. That's your understanding, and that is the explanation and the response I would respect. expect from someone who did not have a higher understanding of what was really going on a scientific level, on a universal level. But it is way more sinister than that, I assure you. No one's hating on you because you're black and you're young and we don't understand you. We're hating on you because somewhere there is a mad scientist using you as a guinea pig to see how long can they allow you to listen to something before it affects you and you start to head towards that trajectory. So if you wake up every morning and say, I'm a gangster nigga, well, you're going, even if you just listening to it, you on your road to being a gangster nigga. I can tell you that right now. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As within, so without. Now going back to Larry P said, what if we really got away from that type of speech and talk and just overall concept of energy? We got rid of that and we invited more money talk, right? Understanding of money. Why you think I put out the other series that I put? See, some people saying, yo, you're not promoting it, right? You're not promoting Beyond You TV. My daughter just told me that this morning. I said, this is by design. Don't worry. When I do promote, all you're going to see is Beyond You TV stuff. Why? Because I would have built it up. So I'm building up the content on this channel. But when they get over here, they're going to be like, damn, there's a lot going on over here. Yeah. We got the history of their financial system and how it tricked you and how you are a slave financially. But it helps you understand. It's not just barbershop talk or rhetoric. No, we'll understand. I'm breaking down the laws so you can go look it up. See, that's the thing. I told you, I don't like to go back and forth debating all this. No, I'm going to bring you to the source. Because you're not going to believe me. And you're going to think it's rhetoric. As expected, right? Plato told us this would happen. However, you're not going to do that with me. So when you get over here, we're going to have all type of hip-hop stuff. Or we're working on different projects, beloved. I don't want to promote all early and then you get over here and then you got 2 shows. You understand? I want mad shows over here that they can't get nowhere else. You're not going to get the type of stuff we talking about because they don't want you to know it. That's why. So this is a new series that I got. You can see this right here without the watermark. I got 7 brand new shows up there explaining about melanin, the electromagnetic force, who you are as a person, as a human being, how your anatomy works. Yeah.
That allows it to send and receive signals. Your heart? It generates an electromagnetic field that extends 3 to 4 feet outside your body.
Did you know that? Did you know that your heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends 3 to 4 feet outside of your body? So when you say you know the vibes, now you can make sense. They just saying it just to say it. You're saying it because you understand that when that person walked in, the electromagnetic aura, it sent out a signal, and your signal intertwined with it, and you said, oh, okay. You see? They have suppressed who we are. They don't want you to know who you are.
Brain, constantly broadcasting electrical activity, measurable by EEG machines. And your skin, yes, your skin, is one of your most advanced antennas. Let's talk about it. Your skin is not just protection, it is perception. It contains sensory receptors, mechanoreceptors for pressure, thermoreceptors for temperature, nociceptors for pain, and electromagnetic receptors that we're only just beginning to understand. But it doesn't stop there. Your skin is also where light meets biology. It absorbs photons from the sun, and those photons trigger chemical reactions inside your body. And the superstar of this process, melanin, specifically eumelanin. Eumelanin is one of the 2 main types of melanin. Is not just pigment, it is an advanced bioelectrical material, a natural semiconductor. Remember, A semiconductor is a material that can both conduct and insulate electrical signals, depending on the conditions. That's the foundation of every computer chip in your phone, your laptop, your TV. Well, nature did it first. Eumelanin absorbs a wide spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, from harmful ultraviolet rays to visible light and even heat. But it doesn't stop at absorption. Eumelanin converts this energy into harmless heat, protecting your cells from damage. And even deeper than that, eumelanin has been found to have the unique ability to store electrical charge, to conduct it, and, this is what blows scientists away, to act as a biobattery. That means your body, through eumelanin, is constantly interacting with the electromagnetic world. It's not passive. You are actively receiving, interpreting, and shielding energy flows from your environment. Now, take this a step further. When light hits your skin, your body converts it to electrical and chemical messages. These messages travel through your nervous system to your brain, processed just like data moving through a circuit board. Your DNA itself relies on electromagnetic signals to regulate gene expression. Your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, produce energy via electron transport chains. Electrons, electricity, communication, external signals, like sunlight, magnetic fields, even emotional frequencies from other people, all influence your internal computer. Scientists have even observed that cells use biophotons, tiny packets of light, to communicate faster than nerve impulses. Let that sink in. Now that you see the body as the first computer, the role of eumelanin becomes even more profound. Eumelanin doesn't just make you darker, it makes you more connected. People with higher concentrations of eumelanin have greater capacity to absorb and process electromagnetic radiation, greater resistance to cellular damage from solar radiation, greater internal bioelectric flow. It's like having an upgraded antenna on your Wi-Fi router. Stronger signal, clearer reception, more bandwidth. Your environment is filled with energy. Eumelanin lets you harness more of it. And there's a spiritual layer to this too. Ancient cultures have long revered the sun as the source of life. Eumelanin is a bridge between the sun and the soul. Without eumelanin, the relationship between light and life weakens. Here's the twist. Modern science is only just starting to recognize what the ancients knew intuitively, that the body is a living, breathing, communicating system of advanced technology. Biocomputing is already becoming a reality in labs, using organic materials to process data. But it all started with us. Understanding the role of eumelanin is part of unlocking our full potential, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Because to control the electromagnetic environment around you is to control the data you receive, the health of your cells, and the clarity of your mind. And when you see yourself not as a passenger in this environment, but as an operator of your own internal technology, you reclaim your power. So the next time you pick up your phone or connect to Wi-Fi, remember, you are not imitating the machine. The machine is imitating you. You were the blueprint. You are the original technology. And the power of eumelanin, that's not just biology, that is divine engineering.
All right. Now let's go back to our sister, beloved sister, Ann Brown, as she starts to break down some things. As she starts to break down science, actually.
About, or the electromagnetic spectrum, which is generated from the earth and from the environment, has to do a lot with the amount that's liberated from the atmosphere and nature out there. Has a lot to do with the pulse of the earth. The pulse of the earth has to do with thinking of the total thinking of the peoples in the earth sets the pulse. And as the pulse changes, the energy has to keep in line with that. It has to be a balance. Oh, I'm turning my head. It has to be a balance between the pulse and the energy of the people that are present on this earth and the energy they're using and that electromagnetic force. So that changes based on the pulse of the people. So the melanin, however, is protected from certain strong electromagnetic currents that are generated on the earth. In other words, we're grounded because we have melanin. Grounded simply means that the amount of electromagnetic force coming from the earth through the lower part of your body versus that from the upper part of the body is in balance in melanated people. And you mentioned about the Twa people.
So, going back to my question, what type of is it a cruel joke that nature played on Caucasian people? Right? Or do you buy that mutation rhetoric that they gave us? Oh, that the Caucasian people were geographically in a region that resuscitated this gene. Is that what happened? Or were their ancestors not from this planet at all? Were they were genetically designed not to have to worry about that, because on their planet, I know it all sounds crazy, right? But it all is crazy when you think about it. I mean, why else would we do the things we do down here? None of it makes sense. But anyway, I'm just theorizing. I'm not saying this actually happened. I'm just trying to work out something logically and reasonably. Maybe on their planet, they did not need melanin because of their distance from the actual sun. I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking for, not so much for a friend, for myself. Why is it that there's a group of people down here with so much melanin, and then there's another group of people, ironically, who had quite a long length of time with control over the melanated people? Then you hear stories about people trying to steal melanin and all type of outrageous stories. I don't know how true any of those things are, but they would start to make sense if, okay, now I see why you want the melanin. It is a protection once you start to understand. And the first video I showed you, you got to go see the series. They're over there on Beyond UTV right now. So when you get off of this, go watch the whole entire series. You're going to learn so much. This thing gets deep, and you're not going to see it anywhere. And here's a good thing. I don't have to put it up on YouTube so that they could suppress it, right? YouTube will allow me to upload it, and then guess what? Just like a shady record deal, they just not going to let nobody hear it, right? They're just not going to let nobody, they're not going to promote it? No, why do that? I'm telling you, you want to go over there? Watch it. Beyond UTV.
That can communicate by mental telepathy at distances and so on. And I wanted to say on that that's because they are less contaminated than we are here in the Western world. And
stop right there, Sister Ann Brown. Stop right there. Why are we so contaminated? Why would we have a structure that says Food and Drug Administration? We have an administration, a dedicated department that says, hey, man, we'll look out for you. We'll make sure that no one does anything to your food or drugs. Everything is on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I know what you're saying. All right, I can dig it. And then you go off and you do the exact opposite. When in fact, you do not protect us. You allow these food processing plants to put anything in there that would suppress our powers as a human and weaken our health and jam our signals. So I do believe you have a point there. And more diabolical people are trying to get into food processing. What does Bill Gates know about food? That you guys are rushing out getting his Beyond Burger. What? You are a diabolical human being. I don't want to eat anything that you're offering. And Jeff Bezos, I don't know why all of a sudden you got into wanting to create food, but I'm pretty sure you on the same BS that Mr. William Hates is on. Y'all on the same BS, I assure you. What time were you looking at? What time we at? Hour and 35. So I'll probably stay like, I don't know, 20 more minutes. Hey, Trish, can you put up the Cash App for me? I should have it up here, but I'll try to find it on this page over here.
Less contaminated than we are here in the Western world. They live more close to nature. The melanin is working for them as a force, as a current. It's in line with the electromagnetism where they are, which is different than the electromagnetic current here. And the reason why this one is different is because we have so much artificial electromagnetic force that we have introduced in the society. All of these sirens, infrared light that are in all of the police cars, the fire engines, the phones that we use to the cellular phones and so on. All of these are putting a certain amount of artificial current in, destroying and diluting away the electromagnetic field. In those cultures where they don't have all of this technology, they are closest to the electromagnetic current and the pulse in that particular area, but there's an overall general pulse in the world, and we are affected here more because we're in a different climate than, say, the Africans or the Twa people or the Grimaldi people or the Dogon people in Africa.
Original Man says, which one? I got a couple of. So Original Man said that's what the Atlanta child murders was about, stealing melanin. Child, what? Uh-oh. The FBI's FOIA Information Act library contains many files of public interest, historical. Okay, thank you for that. All right, here we go. Here is what Original Man was saying. So he was saying between 1979 and 1981, approximately 29 African American children, teens, and young adults, mostly boys, were kidnapped and murdered. A majority of the killings shared common details. The FBI joined the multi-agency investigation in 1980 in our files. The major case is called ATKID, short for Atlanta Child Murders. The investigation was closed following the conviction of Wayne Bertram Williams, I've heard that name, for 2 of the murders in 1982. After the trial, law enforcement linked Williams to 20 more of the 29 murders. This release was made prior to the creation of the FBI Vault. The files have since been renamed and enhanced the clarity of information. Okay. Any day now. All right. So I would have to look more into this, which I'm going to. But it's not that I don't. I definitely believe what Original Man is saying. I just want to be able to point out facts to you guys. Uh-huh. Oh, Dick Gregory. Shout out to him. I think he passed. May he rest in peace. But he was an enlightened mind. So Dick Gregory blew the lid off why these kids were being kidnapped. Why these people were... further stated. Yeah, good God, man. All of that getting kidnapped and violated is crazy. This is a crazy planet, bro. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, original man. I will be looking more into that.
They are less contaminated there, and the force of nature is more in balance with how the people's pulse is at that part in that part of the world. Thus they can communicate. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the less contaminated the environment, the natural environment, the better the conditions of health and function and
The ability for us to use our powers. But if they keep on, first of all, if they suppress us, right? Even before this technology, we were suppressed. You were suppressed through literal torture and groupthink. Literal torture and groupthink, especially the melanated people. Oh, this script gets serious, right? Never mind just racism, right? They try to turn that into a thing where it just gets uncomfortable and you just move on to the next subject, right? Because most of us do have white colleagues, we do have white peers, and we have great relationships with these people, right? So it's like, oh, why bring something up that's going to make the room uncomfortable, right? I don't want to make that person uncomfortable, but it's not about making that person uncomfortable, because on a larger, grander scale, I do believe that whoever is running these plans and these narratives, they understand. Listen, they're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to seem like a pariah to society if they're the only one out there exposing religion, exposing these tactics that we use. So you got the majority of the melanated people that were suppressed either through torture or groupthink. You don't want to be a pariah in society, do you? Well, you're going to act like you at least believe in what we believe in. Or you're going to do it Facts, Trish. $400 of enslavement, of suppressing your ability to be your true self. Well, we had some understanding that there was more to us, but we were not all initiated into the sciences. This is why you had mystery schools. Everyone was not initiated into this actual science. Because if we were, some of us would have. It's not that you didn't deserve it. Maybe.
survival of the people in that area. The trees are not cut down, the pollution of the waters and the earth is not the case in those places, whereas here, greed has created a kind of contamination that's irreversible, health wise and otherwise. So it changes the electromagnetic tone of the earth because you're killing it with the pollution, diluting it with chemicals, and that's no good for the forces that come from the earth and nature that speaks to us. The earth is alive, it's a living matter, so it's speaking to us, and that's why I said it has a pulse, and that pulse is picked up, and that pulse is determined by the tone of thinking of those in the universe, or in especially this part of the world.
That's amazing. I've heard something about it, but no one has explained it quite like you have. But you're saying that our thinking
Yes, right.
affects the earth.
Absolutely.
Our thinking affects the earth. So if you can get us on a grand scale to think negatively, come on, talk to me today. If you can get us to think impurely, look at the way that the world is telling us to think. Just look at it. I almost hate to look at that contraption called the phone now with these stupid apps. Almost hate it because I know everyone's trying to get a like or a view. So what they're doing, they're going out their way. And, you know, I might have to start unfollowing even some of the people that are close to me, you know, because they post things that does not resonate with my spirit. I do not want this in my system. I don't want that information, right? Because it neither contributes to it, but only to the destruction. It's like a computer virus. I don't need every day to see young kids shooting other young kids. I believe that they're out here doing it because you had put that frequency and that information into their internal system, and you put it on a loop. Music is a high frequency. So you rewarded them. First you enticed them, then you rewarded them for making that type of music. So I believe you wholeheartedly that they're out here. I don't need to see that every day. I don't need to turn on the Instagram just to see every other photo of some girl with her ass in the air and a thong. That energy is there to disrupt the synergy and the connection I have with my wife. It's there to break it up. If that breaks, it's going to break up the home. If the home breaks up, it starts to break up the community. You understand? Which goes against the instructions that was left in the book, that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, and then also, what? Be fruitful and multiply. Well, I don't think it was going to tell you to go do all these things so you could go leave and go around the earth having kids that you was never going to take care of. So it's like everything, all the information right now is going against humanity that's being propagated. And that affects the earth. Now, who would want to do that except an enemy of the state, an enemy of this planet? That's why I bring up that conversation that seems weird to you about the Draco people called the reptilians. Maybe they want their planet back. All due respect. From what I hear, they were here first. And if we were genetically engineered, then, I mean, there's my validity right there. One thing we do know for sure is that the Homo sapiens sapien was not here first.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
All right. I'll try to. I'm saying that there's a lessening of the spirituality. Spirituality means that we communicate with spirit and with wisdom from the Creator. There's less of this here, so we have lost that opportunity to create a kind of a pristine kind of thinking. We've lost that. So that changes how the earth responds to us, how the forces, electromagnetic forces that control our movement on the earth and our uprightness on the earth. In other words, when you walk, there's a certain kind of energy that keeps you where you are in addition to your body parts. Mm-hmm. So as you change as the thinking goes, the pulse or the tone of the universe is going to be thereby affected by the thought processes that are put out there in the universe. In other words, every thought you put out there adds to that dilemma that I'm talking about.
Now, when you really go into what Terrence Howard was talking about, and again, I don't know how much, this was a long video he did with Patrick David, and some of it was gobbledygook and some of it was not gobbledygook, but he did hit on some points where it was like, yo, he's cooking right now, right? How he's basically talking about I'm trying to see what material I can give to you as an example. There is some type of clay beads or like beads that formulate together into an image, right? So if you just say that every atom is a bead, but the accumulation of these atoms when they come near each other, it perceives to be a solid, right? It perceives to be, but they come together and they're vibrating together, and the accumulation of all these atoms together actually create the things that we see. If we was to understand this, right, even at the lowest level, that all of this energy is from one, right? Because if we start to understand there, and then we start to teach how this is built up, they do teach organs and they do teach the different things on a mainstream education level. They separate it and then they go into atoms, this, that, and the third. I think they don't put it all together so that it makes sense. Uncle Andy, salute, man. Good morning. Thank you for your Cash App, Uncle Andy. I appreciate that. So, when we truly do understand not the Rockefeller Carnegie understanding of your anatomy, but the overall true universal understanding of your anatomy, then I think not only will we understand our true capabilities, right, but we will understand the weapons of mass destruction that have the potential to harm us, right? And why our water allegedly is filled with toxins that don't really help us, but we're told that they help us. But we've been here for millions of years. We didn't need these things. That's why we need it now.
In Part 1, we explored the truth of the human body as the original computer, a masterpiece of design, capable of sending and receiving electromagnetic signals, storing energy, and even processing data through organic material like eumelanin. But this rabbit hole goes deeper. Because if you think you've seen everything this organic supercomputer can do, wait until we uncover its relationship with energy fields beyond sight, scalar waves, biofields, and ancient energy knowledge lost to time. Today we're going to decode how the body, especially through eumelanin, connects to invisible energy grids that surround us, and how you can amplify your natural signal. Let's start with something you're probably not hearing in mainstream science classes. When we talk about communication technology, Wi-Fi, radio, cellular networks, it's all based on electromagnetic waves. But Nikola Tesla, the visionary inventor, spoke of a different kind of energy, scalar waves, also called longitudinal waves or Tesla waves. Unlike electromagnetic waves, which move up and down as they travel, scalar waves do not oscillate in the same way. They move like a pressure wave, transferring energy directly through space, and they can pass through solid matter without loss of power. And guess what? Your body is equipped to work with these waves too. Let's connect the dots. Your skin is your first interface with scalar energy, because scalar energy is everywhere, and your skin, especially when rich in eumelanin, acts like a biological receiver. But it goes even deeper. Your DNA is a helical coil, and coils, especially in electromagnetism, act as receivers and transmitters of energy. When scalar energy interacts with your DNA, it can trigger cellular functions, protein folding, even changes in gene expression. Now, bring eumelanin into this picture. Eumelanin, with its broadband absorption and semiconductive properties, enhances the body's ability to interact with subtle energies. It doesn't just absorb light, it holds energy. It amplifies signals. Melanin isn't just a pigment, it's an antenna for life force energy. In today's world, we are surrounded by artificial electromagnetic fields, cell towers, Wi-Fi routers, power lines. The concern is real prolonged exposure to high EMF levels can cause cellular stress, oxidative damage, and neurological disturbances. Eumelanin provides natural protection in an EMF-rich environment. It acts like a biological Faraday cage, absorbing and dissipating excess radiation, buffering sensitive tissues from overload. Studies have even shown that eumelanin can interact with ionizing radiation, like gamma rays, and convert them into usable chemical energy. Yes, that means melanin harvests energy from radiation. Think about that. You're not just surviving your environment, you have the biological tools to thrive in it. This isn't new knowledge. Ancient civilizations understood the importance of energy, sunlight, and biological interaction with cosmic forces. Look at Kemet, or ancient Egypt. The sun god Ra was the supreme deity, symbolizing life-giving energy. The ancient initiates spoke of the Ka, the vital force, the energetic double of the human body. The Dogon people of Mali mapped the Sirius star system long before telescopes. They teach that humans are vessels of cosmic energy, and their rituals reflect this cosmic attunement. And in Eastern philosophy, concepts like chi or prana describe the universal life energy that flows through every living being. All of these systems, across cultures, recognize that we are not isolated beings. We are part of a greater energetic network. And eumelanin is the biological bridge to that network. Let's get practical. Melanin requires sunlight to function optimally. Safe, regular sun exposure charges your bio battery and boosts natural vitamin D production. Grounding, or earthing, is the practice of connecting your body directly to the earth. This simple act balances your electromagnetic field. Barefoot contact with soil, grass, or sand helps neutralize excess positive ions and restores natural charge balance. Feed your melanin with copper-rich foods like spirulina, dark leafy greens, cacao, and sea moss. Copper is a cofactor in melanin production and enhances its function. Certain chemicals like fluoride and heavy metals interfere with melanin and electromagnetic communication. Detoxify regularly and use natural products. Your emotional state affects your biofield. Negative thoughts create chaotic energy patterns, while mindfulness and meditation
Hold up, stop right there, beloved. Now, why would you put fluoride in the water, telling us that it strengthens bone density, when in fact interrupts the electromagnetic communication system within our system we call a body? When were we supposed to find out this adverse effect of what you call to be a benefit? Oh yeah, we put it in all the water. Who put it in all the water, bro? Do you see? Or am I just saying something so out there? There's obviously an organized group that keeps doing things that weakens us as a humanity species, bro. Would another human being do that? Or would something else, something more sinister? Maybe the people that keep pointing out, I keep bringing up reptilians in my videos. Hey, nothing to see here, guys. He's just another quack job talking about reptilians. There's nothing to see here. Go watch, there's some booty twerking videos out here we can watch. Oh yeah, I appreciate that, Richard man. We got, go see. I'm giving you these two for free, right? You can go see these. You go watch the whole episode right now for free on Beyond You TV, the whole series. If you think these are the first two, part 1 and 2. I created 7 parts. Yeah. We got to get the information out to the people. It's dangerous to these entities that want to obviously take us over. They don't do things that are logical and sensible to the health of mankind. They're just not. Everything that is being done is opposes that. Everything. Chemicals in the air, chemicals in the food, chemicals in the water. Why would you continue to listen to their rhetoric as if they can? Obviously, they don't. Whoever the puppet master is, whoever is the man behind the wizard, doesn't want you to see him. He's not interested in paparazzi or fame. He's just going to keep on moving through the crowd. But I have the ability to see the intangible, what is not there. I'm telling you ahead of time. Right? These people exist. Now, why would you cause more emotional distress? Actually, can I get 3 people to give me $25? If I can put on my clergyman hat for a second. Hear me out. Please don't make me do the voice of the pastor. Quickly, come quickly. Please don't make me do the Marvin Sapp. I don't want to lock the doors and all that crazy jazz. Huh? Thank you, Uncle Andy, for your gift. Can I get 3 people to give me $25?
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors.
Close the doors.
Close the doors.
Now, obviously, Marvin Sapp has a different approach. Jesus Christ. He has a different approach. I'm not ready to go out and take this approach. Listen, Poker Face Society, don't make me have to close the doors to the YouTube streets. Please. Huh? I'm not. Listen, I just need $25. I just need 3 people. He's out here counting people in the pews and on the internet. He's like, we got 1,000 people here. We got 1,000 people in the internet. Huh? Lucky Luciano who? Huh? Bumpy Johnson who? He's with all of that energy. Yeah, close the doors, man. We need $40,000. What?
We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online.
Yeah.
This is a small seed. If I could,
I got it, Uncle Andy. Uncle Andy, just see. That's how you don't get the doors locked on you. Uncle Andy's like, yo, I gave mine this morning. I got it, champ. I didn't miss it. I don't got notifications on my Cash App, but I just so happened. Here's a funny thing, because I seen you put in a note for servers and things, right? And I went to my Cash App specifically to see how much I had in there, because I was about to get this software that helps me edit. So I was like, let me see how much this thing wants. And then when I went in there, I was like, huh, I thought I only had this amount in there. And I'm like, who gave me? And I looked it up and seen Andy. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Trish. Hold up. Close the doors. Close the doors. Huh? Close the doors. Now, I don't know how many people we have watching. I'm no stickler like the great Marvin Sapp. He's out here looking at the metrics. Hard body. Huh? We got... How'd you know how many people you had here, bro? Did I do that ticket thing? That's a big church. That's how you take them to Pound Town, baby. That's how you take them to Pound Town. He didn't ask for too much. Not like some guy. One guy he tried to raise like $1 million in one night. Like he went overboard. It was like, you guys have it. I want you. He said, you guys have it. You got it in your 401ks. I need. He went crazy. He said, you guys have it in your 401ks? What? He said, you guys have the money. Yes, they have the money because they weren't idiots. being scammed. That's wild. I don't know why Marvin needed the money. I don't know.
Get 1,000 online to give this. If I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all.
What's funny is he didn't say what he was gonna use it for, right? He's just like, that's $40,000 tonight. And without any doubt, I could be at Istanbul in the morning doing what I do when I'm in Istanbul. Now, you guys make jokes, but you've never been to... Do you know the rules in Istanbul? There are no rules in Istanbul. What happens in Istanbul stays in Istanbul. I don't know. Good morning, Abria. I'm just joking around. Not about the $25 from the 3 people. Now, I have 2 people who have given me, actually, 1 person, because Uncle Andy had given his this morning, way before I asked. And so I asked, so I still need 2 more people to give me the $25. Thank you very much. That is hilarious. However, where were we at? Yeah, that's where we were, right here.
Stabilize your internal frequencies. Finally, let's ascend. Melanin isn't just a physical conductor, it is also a spiritual amplifier. Ancient mystics taught that higher consciousness requires connection with universal energy. Eumelanin facilitates this connection by increasing your sensitivity to vibrational energies beyond the physical senses. It is believed that people with highly functional melanin systems are more attuned to subtle realities, intuition, psychic impressions, vivid dreaming, and the feeling of oneness with the universe. The body's natural antenna picks up not only on physical signals but also the non-physical, the spiritual whispers of existence.
By the way, if you are a Christian, then you would be believing in this, because this is who you call the Christ, Yahshua ben Joseph, was into. But don't believe me. Go look up the community and what they believed. The community that he belonged to. No, I'm not talking about the Jewish community.
You are not simply a user of technology, you are the technology. So here's the revelation. Every time you step into sunlight, every time your skin absorbs photons, every time your DNA spirals and your neurons fire, you are participating in a grand cosmic network. Your body is a living supercomputer. Your melanin is the organic semiconductor. Your skin is the antenna. Your mind is the processor. And your spirit is the signal. And once you understand this, not just with your mind, but with your entire being, you unlock a power no machine can replicate. Stay tuned, because in the next part of this series, we're going to decode the electric heart and how it sends Wi-Fi style signals, the brain as a quantum processor.
Yeah. But you gotta go over to Beyond UTV to see all of that. They can, no. They can't see that for free, Jack. They can't see it for free. It's actually for free on Beyond UTV right now as I speak. It's free, but you still have to go over there to see it. Let's just Ann Brown finish cooking as we end our show today.
If it's negative thought, resentment, if it's war, if it's individual negative.
Look how much war that they propagate on what they call the news. All they show you, if you notice on the news, is negativity. From the morning you wake up, you turn on the news, it's all negative, down to your forecast for the day. You didn't even want to hear that garbage. Oh, man, it's going to rain. Nothing is good, right? It's just all negative news. Some black kids running around doing God knows what. Make sure we get them up there, right? If you do want to see any white criminals, you will have to subscribe to either 60 Minutes or some type of show that shows you didn't even know white people commit crimes. That's how crazy it got. It's just black kids every morning and every evening out here at bus stops shooting people. It's just crazy. Every day, it's just black kids in war. That's all you want to show me. Are you sure? Well, I refuse to watch you. I refuse to watch you. Because there's only a certain amount of time where it's only so much that your spirit can take, right? So every once in a while, you have to fast even from all of this stuff. You have to just turn off technology, period. I understand when some of you guys get to missing and leaving, haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. You got to turn it all off sometime. Clock out, go somewhere, ground, take off your shoes with the sole that's preventing the energy to flow through your body. Yeah. Get out there and walk barefoot on that grass, man. A little 5-10 minutes a day never hurt nobody of the sunlight. Get out there, just walk around. And there is a technique to use, heel to toe, but we don't want to get into that right now, right? They will teach you that in the mystery school if you ever decide to go. The actual technique for walking on the ground barefoot. I'm just trying to give you the overall elementary topic that you've been suppressed from hearing, that they don't put enough emphasis on.
Thinking that people have, all of that goes out there in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So that we have all these violent thoughts, and if you don't do what I want you to do, I'll send my army over and bomb you. If you don't allow me to come in and take over your economy, I'll shoot you down, and I project all this up into satellites, and everybody sees it around the world.
Right.
Are you saying that this now is affecting
Yes,
the very...
that's what I'm saying. The more of that we find, the worse a particular culture is going to be, similar to Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, and then eventually that culture dilapidates.
All right, so then
disappears.
You are not then that much worried that the apparent plans to commit genocide on African people here and abroad will be successful.
It will be to a certain degree, but remember, it will balance out. In other words, you reach a certain threshold level where it won't happen anymore.
Mm.
The forces will stop it. And we see it all the time. You know, you've seen people that we lost and so on. We're sorry they're gone and so on, but they have to go, if I may say it that way. So there's a...
Yes, these people, even people that you may like, there's a number of people I stopped talking to. Not because I don't love them or it's just that you control your narrative. You control what information that you're going to allow into your world. That is my show, but however, I still need one more person to donate $25 to the show. Tricia, can we put that up there one more time? That's my show. If you want to see the full series, of the human being as the first Supercomputer, please go over to Beyond You TV. That's up there. Thank you, Treasure. I got a lot of good content coming. It takes time. It takes time to make, and it takes different software programs. So I'm up to 1, 2, 3, minimum 3, and that has nothing to do with the servers. And Uncle Andy had put in the notes that obviously I have to pay for the servers, right? I'm in the hundreds in the service, and that's about to go up soon because I'm adding on a feature, a couple of features. So in a while, it will be way up there. But we still have some months before that, because at that point, I will be adding a small subscription to Beyond You when it gets to those features there, because of the amount that I'm investing into it. So I do appreciate Trish. Also, she has put again my Cash App down there. I just need one more person to give $25 to be a blessing to the man of God. Maybe not your God, but nonetheless, let's not do apples and oranges. Right? Thank you, Original Man, for putting me on to this whole Atlanta child murders. I will be looking into this story. Allegedly, these murders happened. The murder of these 29 African American children, teens, and young adults, because they wanted the melanin from these youths. Right? I want to expose more history, actual science and history of ancient that was known from the ancient times that we don't know now, right? And why aren't there more? There are some platforms like Gaia. Shout out to Gaia. Shout out to Forbidden Knowledge. There are a couple out here that it's just not convoluted with nonsense. And I guess these are in Beyond You TV, obviously, right? So I'm the latest one. And I just want to build up a really decent portfolio and library of content that you can listen to all the time, right? We're working on news concepts that's not so much negative news. I could get something going, but why would I want to imitate something that's happening right now where I'm just repeating the same negative news every day? Like, I don't want you. I want to design something where when you're driving, it makes you feel good, right? Because it affects everyone in your life, right? If you feel good, and if you're okay, then everyone else is okay at the end of the day. Yeah, man. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate it. Thank you, I appreciate it. So that being said, now I know I got your minds going. So go over here to Beyond You if you don't have it downloaded already, and go finish the series, man. Yeah, Uncle Andy. Spoke a little bit about Terrence Howard. You're gonna enjoy it. Like, he was cooking during that interview he had with Patrick David. And I still want to finish it. I'll probably finish it today. He was saying some things that started to resonate after he admitted, listen, you guys are talking about your math system that was created for the economic system down here on this planet, right? 1 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. But he's saying something totally different, right? So my advice to him is stop saying things that are so controversy, because then no one will hear your actual message because they're listening and rejecting before they even listen at the same time. My name is Jamel Saladin. This is the Poker Face Society. Do subscribe, do like, do share this video, and to let everyone know. Shout out to everyone that's always letting people know about Beyond You TV. There's plenty of you out there that are just really promoting. Our numbers are looking really good. We've been really growing worldwide. Yes, in America, where our numbers have jumped in America, but our numbers have really jumped worldwide. And I'm talking about all around the world. Egypt, Spain has been on to us for quite some time. Ireland has been on to us for quite some time. We've always had high numbers in Mexico and Dominican Republic. Listen, I don't know who I know in the Dominican Republic, but you guys love me, right? You guys love Beyond You TV. I don't know if this is, it might be some town in the jungle in Dominican Republic that only gets Beyond You TV. It's crazy, because I don't speak Spanish. But shout out to the DR. Shout out to Venezuela, right? Canada, has increased the numbers. But for the most part, the United States, my numbers, the United States was kind of always the highest, but it was always like, okay, anybody could surpass them at any given time. Those numbers have shot up dramatically. So we're on a good trajectory. I just want to keep creating, right? So again, if you can't afford the $25, I do appreciate the $25. Oh, Melissa says hi. Tell Melissa I said hello and that we miss her. Yes. I know my conversations, they jump around. Sometimes I burn myself out and I just jump into another conversation, another algorithm. But I'm back on a totally different algorithm. And everyone can't be a part of the conversation all the time. I definitely respect it. But we definitely do miss her presence, and tell her I said hello as well. And as well as Tiger. Shout out to Tiger 3000. And maybe he's still watching too, right? All right, everyone. Thank you. Let me go see what my family's doing. And I hope you enjoyed the new content that I put on Beyond You TV. And let me go fix the live, because they told me why it's not showing right now. So I got to go fix that. All right? Check you guys later. Peace out.